Alright, welcome back to this class of databases, and we are using Access as a tool for database management. So in the last 2 or 3 sections that we have so far had, we have learned how to create a database, we have learned how to create a table, we have learned how to bond 2 tables together, we have learned how to use forms and use of controls to access data, and use of buttons to navigate through our database. Well, let us now learn how to use another object, and this object is a query. A query, we can think of a query as simply an instruction or set of instructions that are sent to the database in request for data. Okay, just like any of you has moved out, any of you have already moved out someday, and you get stranded along the way. You inquire. That means you're executing some query, and this query is supposed to give you feedback. So there are queries that we write, there are commands that we write to the system, and these commands are supposed to fetch us some data from the database or insert data in the database. There are queries, there are commands that are executed, and these commands are supposed to make calculations or select data from the database. They are meant to manipulate the database with commands like delete, commands like insert, commands like update, commands like alter table, commands like there are various commands that you can set to easily manipulate data from in the database. So those commands are what we would want to learn how to use those commands. However, Microsoft, like I said, kind of hides away things, kind of gives you ample space, ample time to easily interact with the database without you hassling that much. However, if you used to writing those commands, the SQL statements, still Microsoft gives you that platform for you to write your favorable commands. Some people just like writing commands. I like writing commands, but I would love to get you started. It's always good to have someone getting started than exploring things that people do not understand. So it's better you understand and appreciate why we need the database and how to design the database. Okay, so we want to get started the easy way out with our query. If you haven't looked at how to design all what we have looked at, please, it's better you revisit our previous sessions so that you get along with creation of databases and creation of tables, use of forms, use of navigation buttons, use of commands and controls. So if you haven't looked at that, please ensure that you go back and look at that so that you can match our level. We are getting to some other level. If we have started now using commands, we are getting to some other level. So it's better you get along and have everything done. So today we want to look at queries, and we would love to start off with the simple queries, and then we shall go on advancing to some other level of querying. Alright, so let's start with the simple query. It's good enough we have 2 tables. We have the categories table, and then we have the items tables. Those 2 tables are bonded together in what we call a relationship. If you don't know what we call a relationship, it's better you revisit the previous chapters so that you know how to create the 2 relationship and how the relationships work. Right? So okay, there we are. We want to create a query. This time I love always to create it from scratch. Query design. create it yourself. Alright, when you click query design, that is found under the create tab. Click others and then select query design. The query design is going to give you the window for designing queries. So in this window it will appear almost the same as the relational, establishing a relational database or establishing a relationship between two tables. So having the two tables there, we can select both, okay, and then we add. Okay, the two tables will get added, or use the previous method of double clicking at each table so that they get added to the database, to the query window. After doing that, close, please click close, and then we have our two tables there. Now you realize that in these two tables we have the lower section. The lower section is supposed to help us write our simple query. Okay, it's just to write our simple query, and then we have the query running, up and running. These queries can vary. A query displays as if it's a table. Okay, the way it displays is as if it's a table, but in reality it's just a query that has gone to fetch data, and the database management system displays it in the form of a table. So this query can limit, we can decide when we need a simple table, all the records in a table are returned, or just one or two records or fields are returned, okay, are displayed. Take for example, if I happen to get records from the categories table, and we are going to display all the data that is in both cat ID and category name. So what we need to do, we come to the lower section and then select which table do you need the data to come from. That data is coming from table categories. And which field do you need to get that data from? We need to get that field of cat ID. In the same table, still in the same table, which is categories, display the field is category name. The show means it is going to be visible. You're going to see it. So let us run the query and we see. Remember, it is a query, it's not a table. So up there in the design, there is a button that has run. Click at it, and you're going to have a query showing all what you have. Okay, everything that you have there will have to be shown. Everything that you have there will have to get shown. Next, we are going to, I'm swapping back to the design. You might be interested in just getting from this table, not that table. So from the table section, I want the items table, and I just want the item code, the item itself from the same table, items table, the item itself, item name. Then from the same table, this table, I want to get the quantity in stock, just quantity. How much do we have in quantity in stock? Run the query. So realize that it will just display that. It will go to the items table, display the ID of an item, ID name, item name, and then quantity in stock. That's all. However, you can decide to execute a query to display everything. So what you do, let me just clear everything here. Just clear everything. Alright, so you can just display everything. just double click at it. 1 2 1 2. Easy life, eh? You don't have to struggle that much. And then click, and everything returns the table as it is there. Okay, as it is there, it's almost the same as this. This is a table, this is a query. So that's the way queries are run or established, and they are run. So to save our query, just need to click at save and give it a name. All items. So it will return all items. Alright? It will return all items. Then let's look at another format. Another format will be displaying from two tables. You can decide to display content from two tables. One can decide to display this. Since they are both bonded together, I want to display item ID, one item name, quantity in stock, and then display which item category. Okay, let's run the code. Let's look at that. It is bread 50, and they belong to eats. Biscuits 80, they are eats. Peps 60, drinks. Minute Maid 80, they are drinks. Books 80, scholastic material. Pens 90, materials. So the query is really working out well. So shall we save this query? So this time we are saving the query as, right? Or we're saving, simply save the query. Alright, all items. So save the query, and the query is saved. Alright, so let's make another query, or let's just play around with this query. When you look at this query, when you look at that query, this query, and then we'll run the query. If you look at that query, there are items that have E. Okay, there are items that have E, others, okay, the items that have stock, like we have 50, we have 80, 60. Let's display items that are in stock and they are more than 60. So we expect to see biscuits. Biscuits is more than 60. We expect to see Minute Maid. We expect books, and so we don't expect two items there, this and that, and bread, peps and bread, they are not going to be part of it. So that will be the query that we're going to design. Alright, so we'll click create and then design query. This time around I need to pick data from items, so just items, click OK. Alright, so I want the item ID, name, quantity. Alright, but once you have that, we're looking at the quantity greater than, or the quantity has to be more than 60. Alright, so we don't expect to see peps, we don't expect to see bread. Whatever we are designing, we want to get the criteria, but we don't want to get the criteria of item code, no, not the item name, but we want the quantity in stock. That quantity in stock has to be greater than 60. So we don't expect to see anything 60 and below. Press enter and run the code. Okay, so we don't expect to see, you see that these two are not there, bread and peps, they are not there. we just have the rest. 1 and 6 are not there, which was bread and peps. We have pens, biscuits, Minute Maid, because their quantity in stock is greater than 80. Okay, so we can even have the quantity which is 90 only, so the rest will disappear. We shall just have pens. Let's try that. Go back to the design, and then we have just 90. Press enter and then run the query, and the rest are gone. We shall just have 90. Alright, so that's the way we play around with these queries to do the criteria, and then we can possibly have 60, or we can have 60 and 80. So we don't expect to see something like 90. We just want to see either 60 or 80. 90 will not be there, 50 will not be there. Alright, and then we run our query. Alright, 90 is not part of this. 90, which is pens. So pens is not there. It's not anywhere near our records. So that's the way we play around with this, and hope you've learned something out of it. But you can also add more and more content. You can add more and more of tables, and you fetch data from different tables. As long as that data blends, you'll be able to have whatever you need to have. Then we can also save these queries, and the same queries can be added onto your forms. You can still use the same queries on the forms. So let's look at that, and we see how these queries can be done, or can be utilized using forms. Also, I'm switching back to this, and then taking off that. So I want to see the items once I select the item category. So item, and then I see the category there. Okay, let me add. Let me see. I'll wish to. Okay, show table. Let's see if I need to show table. I need to add the category there. Okay, and then click OK. That's good. And then I just need to add the category name. Alright, so that, and then save as a category items item by category. Okay, item by category, and click save. Then what I need to do is to go to the categories. Okay, I just need to add my query there. So I swap to design, and then add the query there. Alright, add existing fields. There are no queries there. Okay, so what I do is just to add the query item by category, and then drop it there, and yeah, let's go there. So show items for each record. That's what I want to do. Okay, so click next. Okay, the link you selected can't be used. The link was created based on relation between source. Okay, show item for each in a query using. So let's use that and see. And then what name would you like for your sub form? Maybe category by ID. Okay, categories, all items for categories. Okay, and then click finish, and yep, it's done. So all items for categories is what I've just selected, and then move it closely there. If you don't want that, you can select it and get rid of it. Okay, that's okay. And then align your items there, align it properly. Okay, and yep, it's gone. It's done. And all I need to do is to view what I have. Okay, and there it is. We have the eats. So eats, I have basically 2 items there. When I move next record, I have drinks. I have 2 items, Peps and Minute Maid. And then I can go to the scholastic materials, and then I have basically that item. Okay, so this way you will be able to build a simple application that can be utilized by any organization of your choice. Maybe you're working for a particular organization, we can move next. Okay, as long as it's drinks, we shall have the drinks there. As long as it's materials, then we have that, the items. So what it's doing, it's just matching what we have here against what we have in our records. So if I happen to add more and more of the drinks, so I click the items table and then add, I'm adding more drinks. So I'll have Coca-Cola, and then we have 80. Okay, let's have some figure 42 was price Coca-Cola, and then we shall have, alright, let's add that. So the difference is that, and then we shall add new. Let's check and see whether we have Coca-Cola there. Okay, alright, so previous first, and then we have to go to the next record. So we have the Coca-Cola, the entry that we have just done, it's there, right? It's still a drink, and we have it as record number 7. And if we add more and more, we know we are going to add still drinks, record number 8. And then we have the item name as item name. Let's have Chitoko. Okay, Chitoko. Alright, let's have the quantity in stock. We have 25. We have then we have alright, so enter. Shall make some good profit out of it, so shall enter new record. Okay, so let's check this for drinks. Okay, move next. Okay, Chitoko is there. So you realize that our system really is really working well. It's working well, and there's nothing to worry about. So we can utilize the system. It's just having 2 tables, and we can do the sales. We can design for sales, how much we have sold and how much profit. Possibly we can work out a profit area so that we have something to give us feedback at the end of the month, so that we have what we have, how much have we sold, what's the profit, all that in summary form. So that was for queries, writing a simple query, and working with adding a query to the forms, and possibly running a query. So until next time, we shall look at how to work with a report. How much have you sold? How much have you gained out of your sales? What's the profit? That way you will be making a summary of everything, and maybe you can take decisions in your company. Hope next time you stay safe. Please stay safe, and always learn something new to embrace the power of technology. Thank you.